Welcome, ladies and gentlemen of the homeschooling diaspora. Right? Welcome to the podcast that takes education to new heights. I'm Coach Sakile, the proud co founder of Embrace Your Free and your host for Learning Outside the Box, the Homeschooling Chronicles. As a wife and mother of 6 incredible world schooling children, I have embarked on a homeschooling journey that has transformed our lives in a mind expanding, family bonding, and self exploratory adventure. And let me tell you, it's a journey I wouldn't trade for the world. With over 2 decades of experience in homeschooling, I've had the privilege of assisting over 7,000 families on their homeschooling and world schooling paths through coaching, consulting, workshops, and more. Additionally, I operate this vibrant and empowering Homeschoolers Unite Facebook group where we unite and uplift Black families on their homeschooling journey. So today I'm thrilled to present to you Learning Outside the Box, the Homeschooling Chronicles. It's for those Black families that are curious about homeschooling or just simply want to learn from experienced homeschoolers who are doing amazing things. If this is you, then you are in the right place. At Learning Outside the Box, we really celebrate the diversity and creativity of homeschoolers, and we love to showcase a variety of different stories from homeschooling families who have found their own unique path to success. Let's face it, right? Homeschooling is about learning outside the box. There's no one size fits all approach to educating our children, and we're here to prove it. So, join us on this exciting adventure. And without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to Hotep, who is going to share an extraordinary journey through his flexi schooling, which is homeschooling plus public schooling experience together as a devoted flexi school dad, I like to coin that, and public school and school district educational consultant. He faced the challenge of protecting his children from unhealthy aspects of the public educational system. And guess what? He didn't just overcome it, he decided to find solutions by reforming the public school system while supplementing his children's education. So, over the last 4 years, he wholeheartedly embraced the process of trying multiple educational methods from public schooling to various types of homeschooling to discover the best educational fit for his 2 children. So let's give a warm welcome to the one and only Hotep. Yay! So happy to have you.
Thank you, Sakile. Thank you for having me. It's an honor and a pleasure to be part of this conversation. Learning outside of the box is a place, being outside of the box is a place that I operate in many aspects of my life. And I feel most comfortable outside the box. So thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. And we're so happy to have you here. There's so much that we can learn from you. So, can you tell me a little bit about what inspired you to join this like homeschooling, flexi schooling, like just push, where
Mhm.
you're actually incorporating some aspects of homeschooling, some aspects of public schooling to create something unique for your family. Can you tell me a little bit about this process and how it
Yeah,
came about?
absolutely. So I think it really comes from a real fundamental belief that I hold, my wife and I both hold, that has led us both to become entrepreneurs as well, right? That ultimately we are the captains of our own ships and the creators of our own futures, right? And
Mm,
someone said, I think it's Abraham Lincoln actually said something like, the best way to predict the future is to create it, right? And so with those types of thoughts, it was only a natural fit for us to explore homeschooling, micro schooling, all the different types of educational opportunities that are available to our children, because at the end of the day, we understand that it's on us, right? It's on us as Black people in this country, in this world. It's on us as Entrepreneurs, if you want to make money in this world, you know it's on you, right? And so, as parents in particular, right, you are responsible for your own life, and now you're responsible for these lives that you bring into this world. And so, we take that responsibility extremely serious. As you see the grays on my hair, I started parenthood journey a little later than a lot of my peers. So I have a 2 and a 4 year old here, or we have a 2 and a 4 year old, and so even now as I transition, I just turned 50, right? So I'm a grown man. I'm not just a grown man, like I'm grown. And I know people my age that are grandparents, right?
True.
So it's given me a extra perspective and hindsight, looking back over my life and enabled me to really settle in and hone in on uh, these duties and responsibilities that I have as a parent. And I'm in a place in my life where I can do, incredible things for my children and as a result for other people's children. So that's it's that mindset of, taking ownership of your life. Because in this world, it's either ownership or it's slaveship.
I love it. Thanks so much for sharing. I love how you really focus in on responsibility. And I think in this new age, people are feeling very entitled, whereas like you just owe me. And they don't take responsibility for their lives. And then when they don't get the results that they want, they blame this person, this organization, the society. But it's like, are you taking responsibility for your life? And I love how you're taking responsibility for, like you said, your finances, for your children's education and well being, and your overall well being. And you're not going to be a slave, that you're going to empower yourself and do what's necessary to get the results that you want. And one of the ways that you know that is possible is through educating your children.
Absolutely.
So, can you tell me a little bit about some of the benefits that you've seen by being able to take responsibility of your children's education?
Well, so with that, responsibility gives you the opportunity to have full control. I don't know. I wouldn't consider myself to be a control freak, but I'll say this much: I trust myself. You see, I trust myself. I trust my gut, my instincts. I trust my wife. She's got great instincts as well, and my decision making. And so, if there's anybody's decision making perspectives and the like that I'm going to lean on, it's going to be my own or hers, right? So, homeschooling gives us the opportunity to really rely on the great instincts and decision making capability that we have. And I know for a fact that in this world, if you're relying on the society at large to make those decisions for you, you're going to be in a bad place, in a bad situation. My mother, raised us to always remember that oftentimes in this society, in American society in particular, they operate under illusion, confusion, and destruction. Those are the three words she would use. I'll never forget that: illusion, confusion, and destruction. And this
Wow.
is me growing up in the late 70s, early 80s. She used to repeat that to us, and even to this day, we're in 2023, and what do we see? Nothing but illusion, confusion, and destruction. It's continuing, yes. And so, particularly when it comes to understanding that and keeping that forefront in my mind when I brought in children into this world, I wanted to make sure that I protected them from the illusion, the confusion, and the destruction. And so that's ultimately what led me into homeschooling and utilizing some of the resources that we use in our household, and then also creating resources that I didn't see that I felt were important.
I love that. That is amazing. So, wow. You shared a lot. I love the illusion. I wrote it down. I'm like, I've already taken like
Uh,
pages and pages of notes because you're
Thank
dropping
you.
some nuggets. If you are not taking notes, family, get your pen, get your paper because he is dropping a lot of great nuggets. So I love how your mom was like very clear that things weren't as so clear. But like you said, the illusion, confusion, and destruction, and how it can really lead many people astray in
Mm,
various areas of their life,
mm,
which can lead to what, disempowerment, um, not being able to create the life that they truly want. Even like mental illness and depression and all kind of other things.
mm.
Jail, it goes on and
You
on. So
got it.
that is beautiful that your mother was able to instill these values and perspectives into you as a young child. And now you're able to see it play out in the world exactly what she's talking about so that you can prepare and arm your children, with the tools that they need to be successful and
That's
being
correct.
able to navigate through these illusions and confusion and
And the
destruction, and to come
destruction. That's
out
right.
right, and to come out as not just surviving but thriving and successful human beings that
You know, can I
giving
speak to
back
that,
to.
Coach?
Oh, yes,
You
yes,
know,
please.
I'm glad you used the word arming. Sometimes people, may refer to me as being a little tough. I have a rough edge about me. That's true, and and I speak in a very direct manner. But I'm very serious about this, right? I'm serious about my life. Like, people use this term, "Oh, you take yourself too seriously." I'm like, "Yo, you a fool if you're not taking yourself serious." You understand what I'm saying? This is serious business right here. And the word that you used was arming, and I like that word because that's what I believe it is. You understand? Like, you have to arm your children with the skills and the mindset and the confidence, because when you get out into this world, you have to be able to fight. You have to fight and advocate for yourself. And so too often, we approach the world in a very soft and meek manner. We mistake that for humility. We're trying to be humble, but we don't understand what true humility is. So we devalue ourselves. We talk back down about ourselves, and just make ourselves smaller when we should be doing the opposite, right? We need to be doing the opposite. And so, yes, I'm arming my children to be able to advocate and fight and navigate through this world, because if they're not, then the world's going to take advantage of them. And you guys are seeing this right now, what's happening to our young people, right? They have not been armed. And so they're falling apart at the seams. They don't know how to navigate. And they're coming back to your house having to live with you now. You know what I'm saying? Because they haven't been armed. So my point is, I'm glad that you used that word, and I want to take it even one step further in the great words of Frederick Douglass, who said, "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." And I've adopted that. I've adopted that as the theme for the rest of my life. People that know me know the first 50 years was hustle. Everybody knew Hustle University and writing the Hustler's 10 Commandments. That was me, yes. And I did that, and that's a big part of who I am right now, what built me to where I am. But now, as I transition into fatherhood in the next phase of my life, I'm committed to building strong children, and everything I associate myself with and create is an extension of that. And again, salute to Mr. Frederick Douglass for that one.
I love that. It was one of my favorite quotes. I've
Mm-hmm.
posted it on my page multiple times, and when I have posted it, always goes viral. It's like it's so many shares, so it's a really powerful quote, and it's very true. You know, because it's a lot easier to just program, like, it's for instance example, like my children, they were born and raised vegetarian, right? And people are like, oh my god, that must be so hard. My children don't eat vegetables. Well, if in the womb all they ate was vegetables, from their whole life all they ate was vegetables and fruits and grains, and they never ate like the meat and the sugar, then it's not hard.
Exactly.
Versus like you've been eating sugar and junk all your life, then yeah, that's hard to give up meat. But if you never had meat, why would it be hard to give it up? Because people are just like, isn't it so hard for your children? I'm like, that's all they know.
That's all they know.
That's all they know.
Listen, I know a grown man, he's close to my age, and he tells me he has a hard time drinking water. I'm like, what do you mean you have a hard time drinking water? He says, I can't drink water by itself. I have to flavor it with, sugar and all kind of stuff. And I said, man, well, I don't know what happened in his household, right? And I've never heard that before, because natural, water being such a natural part of who we are, how can a person have an aversion to drinking water? But chances are, he might have, he probably did not grow up drinking water,
Exactly.
in the same way you described, feeding vegetables to your children. So, now as an adult, he has a hard time drinking water. He has a flavor in that. I just found that very interesting, and weird at the same time.
Yes, but it's true. So like you said, it's easier to basically like start your children off with a positive foundation
Mm,
for life, set
mm.
the principle, the values, what you expect of them at a young age. And then children rise or fall to your expectations. So if you expect them and lay a foundation and create an environment for them to behave in a certain way, they will do it.
They will
And
do it.
so they will do it. That's all they know.
That's right. Exactly. Exactly.
That's all they know. And it's a lot easier to set this foundation, this programming at a young age than it is to reprogram and recondition yourself as an adult, because
Yes.
those neurotransmitters, those pathways have been set, and it's tied to emotion and
Mm, mm,
ego and all
mm.
kind of things. And you don't want to think like, oh, my mother was wrong, or I've been doing this wrong all my life. It's easier just to keep doing what you've been doing and live in what they would say a known hell than possibly go to an unknown heaven. Because
Mm,
it's like it's
mm.
uncomfortable. I don't know. What if it doesn't
Yeah.
work? What if I
Yes.
fail? What if? So
Speak, sister. Speak.
no.
I put in a different context. I say, when you're dealing with young children, it's like cement, and the cement is wet, right? And you
Yeah,
guys know, and I came up in New York, when you saw wet cement, you're like, woo, I can draw on that thing, write my name, so on and so forth. But that's the whole point. When cement is wet, it's malleable, right? You can manipulate it, you can move it around, you can shift it, so on and so forth. That's children when they're
absolutely.
young. As we get older and become adults, it starts to harden over the years. So literally what happens is, when our children get, older, and especially us, that's why they say it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, because the cement has hardened, and it's a rock, and you literally have to break it
It's
in order to,
painful.
yeah. And again, some people, as you said, they don't, that broken aspect of, having to break the cement is difficult for people to do, and they don't have the humility. Their ego gets in the way of that, or, it's just too painful for them, or too, time consuming. So they'd rather just say, what, it's stuck. This is who I am, and this is the way it's going to be. And it's an unfortunate, it's an unfortunate thing. But you know what? I'm not having it for my kids. And for all you that are listening right here, I'm hoping that you don't have it for your children. So thank you for being a part of this conversation here. And thank you for taking and embarking on the journey of homeschooling and taking ownership of your children's education. And ultimately, you're taking ownership of your own education, because you're going to learn a lot along the journey as well,
True.
just like I
True.
am.
Absolutely. I agree. I've grown in leaps and bounds homeschooling. And it's not just about the information I learned, because I learned tons over teaching our children, but learning about the person that I am. Like, oh,
Mm,
I thought I was this person. Oh, no. Okay. Who do I want to be
mm,
for
oh,
my family, for my children, for my future grandchildren, all of that? Who do I want to be? And am I that person? And when you're working with these children, you come face to face with yourself.
yes,
And you get to see, like, oh, okay, I can't lie to myself anymore. I need to be honest. And is this okay? If it's great, it's working, keep at it. Or, if this is not who I want to be, or this is not the type of example I want to set for my children, then I might need to do some work. So it
it's
definitely is a whole thing.
luckily for me, I've had the opportunity to see that and practice that when I was a kindergarten school teacher, right? So I'm a former school teacher. I taught for 15 years here in the Atlanta area. I taught all elementary school. So for 10 of those years, I taught fourth and fifth grade. But then my principal switched me into kindergarten. I was like, what am I going to what I look like teaching kindergarten? You know what I'm saying? But it was a blessing for me to be able to teach kindergarten, because it was then that it helped me see how much of an influence my personal example is to young people. how much, you can say whatever you want to say, but you got to show it too. And the kids are always watching, and they tend to have a tendency to mimic what they see, not what you say. And I learned that firsthand. And so it was my experience as a kindergarten teacher that first forced me to become a better person. Like I tell people all the time, being a kindergarten teacher helped me become a better man, right? It helped me
Mm,
become a better man because I couldn't, in good faith, operate any old way, right, in front of these children, because they're watching me and they're going to do what I do. I'm setting the example. And so the truth of the matter is that from that experience, I learned that all human beings are leaders. All human beings
mm,
are teachers. The
right.
question is, what are you teaching? Right? Where are you leading people? So I don't care what kind of job you have, how old you are, what kind of education you have. You are a leader and you are a teacher. Your living example teaches and leads people in a particular direction, especially as a parent. So the question we all should constantly ask ourselves is, what example am I setting? What am I teaching? Because you can either be teaching what to do or teaching what not to do. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm,
The kids don't know the
mhm.
difference, right?
Right.
So some of us are teaching our children by our example what not to do, but our children are going to follow that because they don't know, they don't have that kind of discernment. And so
Exactly.
it's a reminder for all of us. And I had that experience as a kindergarten teacher, and now as a parent, in the household, being double time, triple time, making sure I'm on the straight and narrow, and making sure that my children observe me, observe the best of me at all times.
Absolutely. I love that because a lot of time I love what you were saying because I tell my children this all the time. Like everyone's a teacher. You either learn from them what to do or what not to do. You know? So everyone has a story and we have great experiences with both. But I love how you were just sharing how, you set that example and you really become that person that you want your children to be. Like we are a reflection of our children. So if you see something off with them, it's just like, check yourself.
Check
Like, where are they
yourself.
getting that from? Is this the behavior that I am exuding? And I love how you are being extra conscious with your family because a lot of times people are like they're all friendly with everyone at work, people that don't really care about them, and everyone out in the street. But when it comes to being at home or with their children, they just lax and they're just like, well, I'm just keeping it real. I just need to let my hair down. And so they'll be like mean and disrespectful and curse and do all these things that they would never do, at work or in other environments in front of other people, but they'll do it in front of their children.
Mm,
And it's
mm,
just like, what value are you putting on like your family and your children? I think it should be the opposite. I mean, I think we should be on our best favorite outside, but again, when it comes to our children who we have responsibility for, like you said, it's our job to even be on our best behavior, to really reflect to them like this is what a human being that's mastered themselves, that's giving back, that exudes certain values and principles, this is what it looks like, and this is
mhm,
how we act, and I
mhm,
respect you and I love you, and this is what love looks like.
mhm.
Love doesn't mean I'm just like, I don't care, I'm giving you the least or whatever. So it's interesting. So thank you for sharing that with me.
You're welcome.
And as an educator and a homeschooler to your young children, is there any advice you would provide to families that are looking to start this journey of homeschooling? Is there any words of
Mhm.
encouragement or anything you would suggest?
Yeah, so being that I'm in the midst of it myself with very young children, I want to put this in context that although I have experience with and education and child development and rearing, if you will, from the perspective of an educator, I'm still I say a novice. I'm a novice father, if you will, right? Although I have whatever wisdom I have from the being an old guy, you know what I'm saying? I'm a novice. However, um, from what I have observed over these past 4 years, and what I've seen in the classroom and working with schools across this country, because that's the work that I do, I can tell you that the One of the great lessons I learned from Jawanza Kunjufu is true across the board. And I want to share it with you guys because I'm not saying that I'm the end all be all and I know everything, but I can tell you firsthand and for a fact that what I'm about to share with you works in a variety of different spaces. What I've learned over these years as an entrepreneur, educator, and black man in this country is that there is indeed a science to success. There is a science to success, meaning success, meaning whatever goal you have, whatever goal you want to achieve, there is a science to achieving goals, financial or otherwise. Okay. And if you follow the science, success is just as predictable as 1 + 1 = 2. Okay. I'm here to let you know this. Okay. And so, what I'm about to share with you from Jawanza Kunjufu is a part of this science. The language that he used may be different. You know, people use different language to explain these same principles, but he put it in the context of parents who create high performing children. Okay. And so, number one, he says that parents that produce high performing children have in their household optimism. They build optimism and hope, right? Optimism and hope, ladies and gentlemen, is so fundamentally important, but it can't be told. It has to be taught. You see, what I found in our societies, we're quick to tell people, oh, have hope, you know, be optimistic, you know, the future will be better, you know, but if a person is not used to having optimism, then you can't just tell them to be optimistic or tell them to have hope and all of a sudden they have hope. It doesn't just work like that. Optimism has to be taught, and it's taught by us. So principle number one for high achieving children or people, optimism, hope, right? You wonder why people don't try, they don't have the resilience, it's because they don't have optimism. Resilience is a byproduct of optimism. You see? All right, next thing, and again, this is a paraphrasing of Jawanza Kunjufu's statement. Right. The second thing he said was that parents raise children in a very complementary environment. Right. When I work with schools, I say creating a climate of celebration. Right. And that's the phrase, that the term that we use in that context, but it's the same thing. He said you're complementary. So instead of focusing on the negative and all the wrong things that people are doing, you learn to shift your attention to the positive and speak in a more positive manner. And so instead of saying to one child, stop doing that, it's more, hey, I like the way you did that. And then so now you're shifting your attention and you're reinforcing the positive instead of the negative outcomes, right? The third thing is high expectations. Sakile just mentioned this, right? Again, because it's part of the science. Having high expectations is important. Coaches will tell you the same thing. Entrepreneur coach, I mean, everybody will take, because this is the science, ladies and gentlemen. You can do it in your household. You have to, if you want high performing children, right, that are successful in life. That's if you want that, right? So high expectations. Now, this doesn't mean being mean or neglecting the small achievements that your kids make, right? But always keeping above them the sense that, you know what, you did great. Again, complimentary is, if you mix that with the complimentary, is, hey, you did great, but you know what? I know you can do even better. You see, that's an expectation. So I'm celebrating what you did do, but I'm also letting you know I'm pushing you further. I see greater in you. That's our job as parents, right? Or as teachers running our schools, for those that are in the micro school community. The fourth thing is consistency, right? Again, so you heard Sakile talk about this. She didn't use the word consistent, but she said, hey, you know what? If we do this all the time, if I raise my kids to be vegetarian and I keep doing it over and over again, that's all they know. It's consistency. That's the science, ladies and gentlemen. So whatever rules and regulations, rituals and routines you want to put in place that are based off best practices, right? Make sure you're consistent with them. You know, as an entrepreneur coach, I used to tell people one of the ways that you're going to be successful is by doing two things: being consistent and being persistent, right? So the other side to the consistent is being persistent. Yeah, and in organizational leadership space, we call that accountability, right? That helps people be consistent and persistent, because being persistent helps you get it, but being consistent helps you keep it. You see, it's a principle for success. It's scientific, ladies and gentlemen. The last of the five things that I wanted to share with you guys is, in short, believing in oneself. Right? He said these parents that create high performing children believe that they, as parents, are the single biggest differentiator in the rearing of their child. And that's the reason why you homeschool, right? Or explore homeschooling, because you know what? You're not going to leave it up to these teachers in public schools to do it for you. Come on now. You know what's happening out here in this country? You know what I'm saying? You want to leave it up to these people to do it for? No. No, you want to be in a bad place if you leave it up for someone else to do it for you, for your children. Those are your kids. And again, I'm saying this now as a consultant to schools and school districts. I work in many schools, and that's all the teachers say. It's like, yo, these parents send their children to our school. They expect me to do everything. The teachers can't do everything. Many of them won't do everything. Some of them aren't even capable of doing the things you want them to do, right? So again, the fifth aspect is believing in oneself. In my book, The Hustler's 10 Commandments, that was commandment number 10. Know and believe in thyself, because it's a scientific principle for success, ladies and gentlemen. So those are the things that I would share with everyone else, Sakila.
Oh, I love it. Amazing. Again, notes. Notes. This is so good. And I agree with every single one of those principles that Jawanzo um, shared with us. So, and you broke it down so eloquently
Thank you.
in a short time. So it was a great summation. It was perfect. So we have some questions in the chat. We want to
Okay.
know, what is the Black Lions and Clubs? Can you tell us
Okay.
a little bit about this?
Yes, I'm very excited to share that one right there. Okay, so um how can I put this? Everything that I've shared with you thus far are principles that I live my life by. Okay. And so when I had children, I started on the journey that I think most parents do, where you want to expose your children to the things you grew up on, right? So I grew up on Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers and Transformers and Voltron in the 80s, the original Nintendo. So my kids know about the Mario Brothers because a new movie came out. But I got the regular Nintendo. Let me show you some of this stuff. So I'm exposing my children to some of the things that I grew up on, and some of the cartoons. And I realized, I'm watching this stuff and I don't see our faces in these cartoons. You know what I'm saying? I don't see our faces. I don't see our culture reflected in these cartoons. And then my niece, who was living in my basement at the time, she started sharing today's anime with my kids. And so I said, well, what's going on with today's anime? And I saw some of that stuff. I'm like, oh, ho, ho, ho. I'm like, hey, no, no. Too over sexualized and extra violent. They're talking about ripping eyeballs out and hearts out of chest and stuff. Now, let me just be clear. I'm a grown man, triple OG. All right, you see the silver in my gray in my, that's silverback gorilla status. So do I like? I like the, I watch me or my time. I listen to all the kind of hip hop, whatever, right? I watch all the violence and the cursing and all the ratchetness that life has to offer. I gets down with the dirtiest and the roughest and toughest of them as a man in my man cave. You understand? But I'm not having it for my children. You understand? I'm not having it because I told you, I'm arming my children. I protect my children because that's what parents do. You see? And that's when I started realizing that if my kids like it, but it's not appropriate for them, then I'm going to have to either find it or create it for them. So I went on and embarked on a journey to see if I could find stuff that was, cool, fantastical, and presented children as heroes, Black children as heroes that spoke our culture, that was actually appropriate for them. I couldn't find it. So what I do? I created it. So Black Lion and Cubs is a family-friendly anime series featuring Black characters and centered around African culture, North African culture, particularly between Egypt and Nubia, right? Because a lot of people know about Egypt, very few people know about Nubia, and also they tend to differentiate Egypt and Nubia and try to separate the two, right? So, it's my intention to, with Black Lion and Cubs, also position parents as heroes of their own children. So all you parents that are watching, when you see Black Lion and Cubs, the cartoon series, what you're seeing is me repositioning parents as the first hero for their children. Because it's a reminder to all of us is that if you're a parent, you are your child's first hero. You're a protector and a provider. It's a reminder for you to step up into that position. Remember that, celebrate yourself, right? Celebrate yourself. And then also give you something that you can share with your children so they can look up to you as a mom or a father and say, hey, you know what? Thank you, mom. Thank you, dad, for, helping protect and guide me through life. So Black Lion and Cubs is an anime series that I created. It's educational, it's family friendly, and it's African centered in our culture. And it's available on Black Education Station. I'll talk about that later, I guess. But
Oh no, let's
mhm.
put it up where they can
Okay.
find it. Black
Mm-hmm.
Education Station.
Now I have to kind of preface that too, if you don't mind. I don't know if anybody asked about it, but I have to preface. So when I had my first child, and I wanted to, share some things with them. Some of those things I had to share. I went to YouTube, like everybody. Everybody goes to YouTube to find whatever for their kids, right? Um, and I just had I didn't like the experience I had there. I didn't like the commercials. I'm watching, I mean, just crazy stuff pops up when you're on YouTube, right? And then I didn't like searching all over the place and having to say, okay, here we can watch this, okay, oh, and I got to stop that and watch something else. So I did my due diligence and searching, and I found Black Education Station. Black Education Station is a streaming service. It's like Netflix and Disney, right?
Hmm.
But there's just different from YouTube. There's no advertising on Black Education Station. It's Black owned. Hold on, let me say that again. No, it's Black
Amazing.
owned. You see, like, and listen, I told you, I see the ownership. Now you're gonna get me talking now, Sakila. Tell me if I need to calm down, okay? I get excited
This
about
is
this.
good.
Okay? I
I'm
get
loving
excited
it.
about this. All too often we like to like you said, we like to complain about what Disney's not doing, Netflix ain't doing. Oh, there's no representation, Matt. Like we're like beggars, you know what I'm saying, waiting for white people to do for us. It ain't their responsibility to represent us. Let me say that again. Let me put this in context. Who in the world would ever put it up to other people to make you feel good about yourself? You understand what I'm
Right?
saying? Who does that? Only the slave mindset does that. You see what I'm saying? So for so long, we've been complaining about Disney doing this or not doing that. Well, I'm gonna tell you all right now, we don't have to wonder, ask, beg, or complain about nothing no more, because Black Education Station is here. It's a streaming service, just like Netflix. You got Netflix already, you got Disney, but the question is now that you know about it, do you have Black Education Station? It's a streaming service, no commercials. It's been curated by educators and parents. All the content is created by Black people, right? For the
Right.
benefit of our children. So when I found it, I was like, oh my God, never, like somebody's posted. I never heard of it either. I'm like, and they, to their credit, they're very new. They're brand new. They're about to celebrate their first year anniversary. So yeah. So I'm like, so I found out about them last year. And I said, oh, I got to be a part of this. I mean, this is just incredible. And because I'm an educator and I've had already developed content myself, I said, you listen, I want you guys to take, you guys can have all my, please. Like, I want to see you guys be successful because, it's so necessary and needed. So, and this is,
Yes.
right after COVID, right? So in any case, I found out about them. I really got close with the owners. And I said, listen, whatever I can do to support Black Education Station, I'm going to do that. I'm a subscriber, but then also, for my children in my household, they watch it all day. I know that when they're watching it, I don't have to worry because all the content's created for children 0 to 10. So it's, for young children, right, in particular. But I said, they can watch it all day. I don't have to worry about ads coming up. I don't have to worry about bad language. Hold on. You will not hear any bad language on Black Education Station. You will not see any misbehavior. The normalization, let me say this. The normalization of bad language and bad behavior is real. Okay, you got me talking now, Sakile. Stop me if I talk too much.
That's good.
I'm gonna tell you because I have Disney in my house too because I rocks with Disney. Okay, on a level because I'm a fan. But I started watching some of the shows that I used to watch, before I became a parent, like Toy Story, for example. In the first 15 minutes of that kids show, you hear people calling each other dummies and idiots at least 10 times. You count it yourself. Put me to the test. So I'm watching, a kid's show, and I hear dummy and idiot over and over again. And I had to stop it. Now, this is me protecting. Some people think I'm too serious, whatever. That's my job. I'm going to protect my children. I don't want my children growing up, as young children, hearing words like idiot and dummy and thinking that's cool or normal. We don't use that language in my household. If you're wondering the language that your kids use, I guarantee you, your kids are using the language that they see in kids shows, not adult shows, kids shows. And so the other thing is, so I'm changing. I'm trying to find stuff. I watch, what is the other one? The one about cars. There's another kid show. It seems benign, right? It's about cars. They had, cartoons. It's cute and all that. And throughout the whole movie, they're talking about killing people. I will kill you, stuff. And I'm like, hold on. Now, before I was a parent, it didn't register, right? Before I was a parent, it didn't register. It was just normal to me. But now I'm watching children's stuff. And I'm like, hold on. Why are we talking about killing in children's G-rated shows?
Right.
Who's rating these things, right? And, who again, that's why we can't leave it to other people. And that's why I'm grateful for Black Education Station, because I can confidently let my children watch it. There's no normalization of bad behaviors, and also some of these other agendas that people are concerned about that might confuse our children. You won't catch it there because Black Education Station believes that when it comes to certain topics, parents should be in control of when and how those topics are introduced to their children. So they're not against, certain issues being brought up in households. They just believe that parents should be in control, full control of when certain things are introduced. The last thing I'm going to say about that is, because it's a personal experience for me, I'm watching another, kids show on someone else's network, and they bring up deaths. The mother dies, right? And the kid, and we hadn't got to that. We hadn't got to death yet. You see what I'm saying? And now all of a sudden, my child is looking at me asking about death. And I said, hold on. Let's see now. Dang, I felt like I was robbed from the opportunity to introduce certain things to my children of a mature nature that I knew I was going to have to, that was going to be confusing for them. And so again, Black Education Station is very cognizant of that. And they believe that parents should be in control of certain issues that are going to require a little bit more explanation and such. And so they want to make sure that as your child is engaging with the content, that it's appropriate, it's safe, it's empowering, it's educational, and some of the other things that may, allows parents to say, you know what, it's time for me to have a conversation about this, that, and the other. I'm going to take care of that before I let Disney or someone else expose my children to it. I'm done, Sakile. I'm done.
This is excellent. I loved it. It was amazing. I love what I didn't know about this amazing station either. I can't wait to check them out. Hopefully they're able to stream worldwide.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
that would be amazing. And
Yeah,
also we want to see where we can find you on Instagram.
okay, so yeah, Instagram. So the reason why I brought up Black Education Station, just for those who are asking, is because my cartoon for Black Lion and Cubs can only be seen on Black Education Station. It's an arrangement I made with them. I said, you know what, I'm gonna support you guys because it's become very popular. That I want to encourage people to watch it, but make sure you're a part of Black Education Station as well. So that's how, for those that are wondering about Black Lion and Cubs, you can watch it on Black Education Station. Um, Very excited about that. So yeah, I'm on IG, Black Lion and Cubs. You can reach out to me. Part of why I wanted to talk with you, Sakile, and your people here is because, while I'm on this mission of building strong children, and while I'm doing so in my own household, I want to do the same for other people's children as well. So Black Lion and Cubs is an extension of that. It's an extension. Everything that I said and poured into you guys for these last 40 minutes, you'll see it in the cartoon. You see what I'm saying? In a child appropriate language and manner, and something that's exciting and empowering. You'll hear all the messages. But then I also, because I just had a meeting with a group of homeschoolers yesterday, for those that subscribe to Black Education Station, I'm doing, for those that have groups, I'm doing free visits, whether virtual or in person. Right now, I
Right.
get paid for my time. Let me be clear. I get paid for my time. All right. But my business is with public schools, and I get my money there, which enables me to do more of my community building work and not charge people for that. But so one of the ways I do that is through my partnership with Black Education Station, because my desire is to make sure they're successful. Like I really, it's like, I don't wave flags and I don't, lead parades and stuff, or marches, but this is my way of doing so. For people that subscribe, and if you have a group that subscribes to Black Education Station, you're watching my series. If you want me to do a pop-in for your students, your children, I'd be happy to do so. As the owner and the creator of Black Lion and Cubs, and just say hello to them. If you're in the Atlanta area and you have a group, I actually do in-person visits to meet with kids, and I talk to them about the creation process of cartoons. I have a video game for Black Lion and Cubs as well.
Wow.
I have posters. I actually gave away a few posters yesterday. So there's a lot of things I'm doing to support this, but support not just Black Lion and Cubs, but to support other people's families as well. And for those that are more academic based in your homeschool, I have a workshop that I do centered around literacy and writing, because the truth of the matter is, in order to develop a cartoon, a comic book, or a video game, you need to write. You need to be able to tell stories. You need to be able to communicate and articulate. So I'm doing that for my schools. If you want me to, again, reach out to me at Black Lion and Cubs. Make sure you follow, share, and but make sure you're subscribed to Black Education Station first. Don't come to me. Do you do your part? I do mine. That's the agreement and the reciprocity.
Absolutely. And I love it. I love reciprocity and win-win situations. I think that's the best way to do business
Absolutely.
where we support each other. So we're going to open it up for 10 minutes of question answer. So you'll be able to ask Hotep any questions that you need. So just drop it in the chat. And while you're thinking of your questions, we're going to have a quick commercial break. So it will be 1 minute and we'll see you shortly. Facing math struggles in your homeschooling journey, elevate your child's confidence and reduce math anxiety with Black Girl Supplemental Math, crafted for third grade to eighth grade girls and their caring adults. Turn struggles into triumph at blackgirlmagic.com. Use the code LOTB, again, LOTB, for your free gift with any purchase through December 31st, 2023. What are you waiting for? Go visit blackgirlmagic.com for your free gifts and also to get your supplemental math box. Thank you, Black Girl Magic, for your silver sponsorship support. We love and appreciate you. Okay, so we're back. Go check out Black Girl
That's
Magic
dope. I
and
like
get
to
your
play on
free
words.
gifts. Yes, they're
Mhm.
awesome. So let's get into answering some of these questions. So, you're asked, is there an app for Black Education Station?
Oh yeah. So this is funny since I've been my series has been on the network. I've had an interesting experience with the community, and I found it that people have a hard time really understanding how amazing Black Education Station is. So one of the first things is when I say, yo, it's on Black Education Station, or they say, oh, is it on YouTube? Nah, it ain't on YouTube. It's its own YouTube. Hold on. It's like people, it's hard. It's like there's a learning curve or orientation curve for people to imagine that Black people actually created this, and it's on the
Mhm.
scale of Netflix. Even your question, is it internet? Of course it's international. No, come on. When I say it's like Netflix, whatever you know about Netflix, it's just, it even looks like Netflix. So to answer, that's the long answer to this short question. Yes, there's an app. You can find Black Education Station in every app store, Roku, Google app, all of that, wherever you can. Yes, this is a big deal, ladies and gentlemen. Like, please, like, if you believe in Black excellence, if you believe in taking ownership over our community and our education, our children, like, really take a look. This is a big deal. It's like history. I'm excited about them, man. Man, I was so excited. So yes,
Yeah,
yes.
your excitement is contagious because I'm excited about them, and the audience is excited about them. So you're great and helping us see the vision and the power behind Black, you know, this station, which is amazing. Black Education Station. I'm just blown away. Like you said, it's hard to even comprehend that this is out here because we've been
Yes.
looking for something like this. And so it's right here at our fingertips to be able to take advantage of. Like you said, it's curated by Black parents and Black educators.
Mm.
So the messages are going to be educational and positive and appropriate for the age ranges of, like you said, 10 years and under
That's right.
preschoolers. So that is fantastic. I'm interested. So, because you're right, there are a lot of things that are just not appropriate out here for our children. So, okay, we're in the Atlanta area. Will you have any workshops in the area for writing and literacy? My son's in the third grade.
All right. So for anyone in the Atlanta area, um, I can't visit with individual families and households. So what I've been doing is visiting with micro schools or homeschool groups that pull together. So for example, if you are in a homeschool, if you have a child and you guys are part of a group that has access to Black Education Station, just let me know. Contact me through the IG page, please, and just let me, I'll arrange that with the leader of that group. Okay. The way it works is, you guys watch the Black Lion Cub series, your children are excited about it, and now all of a sudden you're able to say, hey, I'm bringing the creator of the series, the Stan Lee, if you will, the Tyler Perry, of that cartoon or that, to you guys. And if you're in the Atlanta area, just let me know how many students you have in your group, and if I have more posters, I'll be able to give away posters to them as well. Or I have plenty of other gifts to give away to the kids.
I love it. So I have a question. You mentioned video games. Do you have any
Mhm.
information about that? Is this part of the Black Education
No,
Station or is this something separate? Like, tell us a little bit more information about that. please?
So I developed a video game for Black Lion and Cubs. I actually have 3 video games for Black Lion and Cubs, but I'm releasing them, over time. So right now on Black Education Station, you'll see series 1 of my cartoon. The video game for that, if you follow me on IG, is in the bio, the link in the bio, for the video game. But for every series, Black Education Station is about to release season 2 for Black Lion and Cubs, and then once they do the video game for that series, will be available as well. But the video games don't have anything to do with Black Education Station.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Thank you
Mm-hmm.
for clearing that up for us. Okay, let's see. Uh, okay, I love it. Thank you. Okay.
You're welcome.
So it says we would love to host you at www.epichsn.com in Atlanta area.
Okay. Yeah. Please just reach out. Whoever it is,
Yes.
they're gonna have to reach out to me. I have
Yeah.
no problem responding, but I need you guys to let me know via my Instagram, or yeah, Instagram's the best way because I will check that. There it is. Yeah.
Yes. So
Uh,
make sure you reach out.
I can put my email address in the comments or chat if you want. I don't know how to do. Can I do that?
Yes, you can drop it in the private chat and then I
Put in the
can
private chat. Okay, hold on. I'll put my
if you can put it in the comments, I'm not able to type in the comments
okay.
though.
All right. So this is my email address there
Okay.
for my
So I will
consulting
share.
business. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I will get it.
Did I put a dot there?
I can correct it.
Okay.
Yes. It looks like there's a .com. Okay. And then, oops. Let's see. Let me put the email. Okay. There
Mm-hmm.
we go. So this is the email to contact Hotep. So do we have any other questions or comments or thoughts or anything? Someone just said, thank you, gotta run, but we'll be back again and follow you too. Thank you. This is amazing. Well, this is awesome. Is there any last words you want to share before we wrap things up?
I think I think I said everything I wanted to say. Just thank you. The last words I want to say are to you, Sakila. Thank you
Oh,
for your vision. Thank you for your willingness to take control, ownership, and responsibility of your own household in your hands, and then share your successes, your challenges, your trials and tribulations with others to help them be successful along their journey. I don't know if people can really appreciate the amount of work that goes into doing this on a consistent basis and building something. And so I want to say salute to you for what you're doing, and thank you for the opportunity to share.
oh, well, thank you. That means a lot to me. And I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
you. Definitely a reflection of you and your beautiful family and all that you've put out into our community and the educational system and still giving back in terms of your consulting in the public to improve not just your children's education, but all children's
That's right.
education. So I love it. Thank you so much for your vision and your hard work and your dedication. And you have an amazing time. And family, please reach out, makeaway school at gmail.com. And then also check out the IG page at Black Lions and Black Lion and Cubs. So please follow, subscribe, like all of that. So we definitely want to get the word out and definitely visit www.blackeducationstation.com/browse so that you can get your very own subscription and be a part of this amazing vision. I feel like it's definitely something that can positively impact our children, not
Mm.
just homeschooling children, but all children of the diaspora. So I'm excited about this. So thank you for sharing.
You're
And
welcome.
yes, so now we are going to wrap things up. Stay tuned because we have some free gifts for you as we wrap things up. So thank you so much, family, for joining
Yeah, so
us.
I'm out, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Peace, everyone. Take care.
Peace.